Alright, welcome. If you're new to the channel, my name's Elliott with Rickety Ski Reviews. I'm not normally filming at night. That's actually not how I do this at all. But basically, I was just taking my kids rafting today. It was like super fun. But I also had some big things I wanted to cover today, so I thought I would just, I don't know, jump in front of the camera, put on my work light, and get to work here. This is super weird, but you know, I got my maple milk because apparently I am still a toddler from Vermont, but that's good. Today we are gonna watch the Curated Fischer Ranger 96 2024 ski review. Now, when it comes to Fischer, I got a comment on one of my videos basically talking about, it was one of the guys that worked for Fischer, and he was talking about how basically, like, he was like, actually, our skis aren't gendered, and we say that this ski is made for everyone, and it just gives 2 color options. So I'm gonna look into that, and I'm gonna make a full video on this tomorrow, but I just want you to know, I saw your comment. I'm gonna do some digging. I will say that, like, I think that they're right, and the person in the comment seemed to be legit. So if that's true, you know, maybe I'm wrong. That being said, while it may be true that the ski isn't like designated as a men's or women's ski, like if you look at the marketing, if you look at the website, it's not really clear that it's a unisex ski. So like even looking on Fischer's page itself, nowhere does it say like this is unisex, this can be used for men and women. And in fact, in the curated video I'm looking at, it says 2024 Fischer Ranger 96 women's ski review. Now, this could be like curated not using English well in their title, that this is a Fischer Ranger 96 and this is a woman's ski review, but the way that I read it is 2024 Fischer Ranger 96 women's ski review, because they have a men's review and a women's review. So Fischer, if I'm, you know, your average consumer, I have to say that one, your website doesn't say anything about it, so like it's super unclear. You're kind of relying on people in the ski shop to explain that to you, and in the modern era of people buying skis, people will go and buy them online, and I couldn't find anything on your website talking about how they're unisex. I'm on the Ranger 90 here. Nowhere here does it say unisex, men's or women's. It just gives me a size difference. So I guess if you want to like clarify that for people, put it somewhere more obvious. Even on your video about the Ranger 90, it didn't say anything. It just had people skiing on it. Now, that isn't necessarily your fault. Some of that could just be that like the industry standard has been in such a way that you would need to clarify it. But because of that, you need to clarify it because you have Atomic Mavericks, Atomic Mavens, you have Solomon QST, and then you have like the women's version of the QST. All of these skis have female and male versions. So if you don't, you kind of have to exist around like with what's around you. So you need to explain that better to the people that are buying it, that this is a unisex ski. Again, not necessarily your fault, but it's almost an issue of industry standards. Yeah, I mean, even if Curated doesn't even know, how are you expecting me to know? You know, it's not on your website, it's not on Evo or any of those other websites. Yeah, the only person I've seen explain it online was Bob in a video. So if you guys want to like make that more clear, I don't know, it is confusing for consumers. That being said, good for you. I don't think a lot of skis, I have friends that are women that were ski racers, and for a lot of them, they ski on men's skis because they don't want the women's version. It's too soft. So I think having just one version is great, and kudos to you. But make it a little bit clearer. Maybe that's the video. Since we already watched the Ski Essentials Fischer Ranger, I talked about the Fischer Ranger, how I like them. They're really like the way that the tips are formed. They really don't take a lot of pressure to start initiating the turn. So let's see what Curated thinks. It's only 2 minutes and 52 seconds. How bad can it be, right? God, it's a little eerie being out here at night. All right.
Hi, my name's Jess and I'm a ski expert.
Was that it? Was that the trick? Was that the opening shot? I mean, it's pretty good skiing at first, but then it's just like going up a little ramp and skiing 180 back. Was that it? Come on, dude. I mean, I like can't do any tricks at all. I don't do like aerial stuff. I'm mostly carving focused, but I can do that. Okay. And you'll pardon me, I'm a little sunburned. I took my kids floating in the river, and I wore sunscreen, but you know, you're out there for 3 hours. It's hard not to get a little sun. And if you see me waving, I'm not waving at you. I'm waving to get the bugs off. All right, let's keep going.
Expert at Curated. I've helped hundreds of people find the right gear for them. And today we're at the beautiful...
Okay, where do they get those numbers from? Because everyone says it. In fact, all the other people say, I've helped thousands of people get their gear. She's like, I've helped hundreds, which is still a lot, but weird that it varied from the script. And like, once you've helped 1,000 people, then you can be in a video. But I've only helped 900, then you have to say hundreds. Okay.
Powder Mountain in Utah.
Also, sorry, editing Elliott for the 1 second stop. This is 3 likes. Came out 9 months ago. 880 views. That doesn't seem like very much for Curated. What? This is a weird video. This is a popular ski. Okay.
And I'll be reviewing the Fischer Ranger 96ers. Just want to remind you guys that we're not sponsored by any brand, so these video reviews are completely unbiased. Fischer says that these...
You know how I feel about that. We're not sponsored. We sell it, we make more based on what you buy, and here's my affiliate link, but we're not sponsored. Like, you might as well be. Also, this is like basically an advertisement for a company selling a product. So it's like, it would be like if I produce a commercial for Dunkin' Donuts and at the end the Dunkin' Donuts person's like, but we're not sponsored. It's like, okay, but you're still selling a product.
These are a free ride all mountain type ski for advanced level skiers. My first impressions of these skis were that they were a lot lighter than I expected and a lot more maneuverable. I've always known that these are pretty hard charging.
All right, Sarah, so far her outfit checks out. Anyway, that looks okay. They feel a little bit lighter. I don't know. They're not like lighter than anything else I've skied on. That's a weird comment. I don't know. I mean, they're fine. I think maybe what you're mixing up is turn initiation, where like the tips really like are sensitive. So like you put a little bit of pressure, they're gonna initiate. You could confuse that with lightness, but they're not particularly like they're not like a particularly light ski, especially compared to like a Maverick or something like that. That's a little weird comment.
Ski and expected them to be a little bit stiffer and a little bit burlier, but they were actually pretty easy to ski on.
And if you like what you see and you're interested...
Okay, the first ski we saw with the 180 wasn't great. It was fine. It's like, it was clean, but it wasn't very showy. If you're gonna be like a park skier, show something a little bit bigger. And then Sarah bobbing around those skis, she looked so uncomfortable. She looked intermediate best. And that's fine. It's okay to be an intermediate skier, but that was like, I don't know, that wasn't very good. That wasn't very impressive, Sarah. It's okay. You're bopping around the trees. Like, it's hard, I tend not to be very judgmental of tree skiing, but that was particularly like uncomfortable, straight up and down. That was very intermediate skiing. Maybe I'll see more. Maybe that was just that. Maybe she was just out of her comfort zone. I'm gonna be fair to her, okay? And it's not easy to get video in the trees, so maybe it just looked a little uncomfortable, but that looked a little like rigid and boxy. Not somebody who would be really loading the ski and feeling it.
Description to be connected to an expert like me. These were.
Oh my god, another plug? We were like 30 seconds in. We've had this same plug 2 or 3 times. Jesus. Okay.
A little bit chattery when I went through the trees and hit some of that hard pack, but I think these skis would be much better and floatier if there were just better conditions out here. A little bit softer snow. I think these.
Oh my gosh, she's like almost snow plowing. This is the worst one I've seen. I thought they got better in 2024, so I've been kind of working my way. This is the worst one. She's almost snow plowing. Sometimes when you get in the trees, you have to do that a little bit to like set up your turn, but this is like backseat wedging. Holy moly. This is really bad. This is the worst video I've seen, and I've seen like 10 seconds of skiing. I thought maybe one would be okay and one would be good. These people should not be making ski recommendations. It's fine. Like, you can have an intermediate perspective, but if you want to be really giving insightful reviews on skis, you need to be able to load them up and you need to be able to make good turns. You need to be like basically have enough fundamentals that you can focus on your feet rather than just trying to focus on getting down the hill. Because you might like feel some things, but you're not really in tune with the ski. Oh my God. I shouldn't have done this at night. This is maddening. It's like a full moon tonight. Oh my God. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Okay, okay. Come on. Okay.
I think these skis are made for softer snow conditions. I found these skis to feel stiff to me. Titanol underfoot could help with that, but I think that...
What? What? Everything she just said was wrong. Okay. Okay. These skis felt stiff to me. One, they said they were, okay. One, they're not very stiff skis. They have very easy turn initiation. They're solid, like they'll support you. But the only reason these skis probably feel stiff, not loading the ski enough to flex it, okay? So they felt stiff, which is baloney. I skied on these are not stiff skis. They're stable skis, but they're not particularly stiff. The next thing she says, maybe that would be fixed if they had Titanol. So she's suggesting that the skis would be softer if they had Titanol in them. That's the opposite of how that works. That's the opposite. It doesn't work that way. I was like, I picked a 2024 review because they don't have a 2023 for the Fischer Ranger, at least not that I could find. And I was like, oh, yeah, curated, this will get better, you know? They've had time to adapt. This is the worst one. Everything I've heard is wrong and makes no sense, and none of the skiing has been good. At least good enough to really like load the ski. I'm gonna see her carve more, so maybe, like, it looks like maybe there's some turn initiation about to happen. So maybe there's some saving grace, but everything she said has been wrong. And the skiing's been intermediate at best. And that's being generous. Okay, come on, okay, let's just, God, I feel like I just stepped in like a dog turd. Okay, okay, let's keep going.
These have the freestyle rocker and they're not supposed to be super stiff directional ski.
Fischer Ranger.
That didn't help. She's kind of, okay, let's be positive about this for a second. She's kind of loading some of her downhill pressure before she like stands over it and tips and loses all of it. But for like 8/100th of a second, there might be some downhill pressure. But the rest is like hunched over, standing on the inside ski, pointing the turns. It's like fine. It's not like the worst skiing in the world for anyone. Like she could definitely get better. She has enough like baseline that she could definitely improve, but she's not loading the ski fully and she's not going to be able to give you like an honest opinion about them because she's not loading them enough to feel where they're loading, to feel where they're popping out of the turn. This is bad skiing, and everything she's saying is like backwards somehow. How did no one behind the camera say like, what, Titanol would make them softer? What? And even the cameraman, when he's skiing behind her in the trees, it's like, it looks like the camera person's like waiting for them because they're catching up to them. I don't know if I can use this. This is like getting too mean. Okay. It's okay. Maybe I'll find some insight here, okay?
Fischer Ranger does have Titanol underfoot, and I could feel that when I was carving. It definitely had good edge hold on some of the firm snow. I could get some really nice carved turns in on the groomers.
Does it have Titanol or not? The first lady said it would be better. It would be softer if it had more Titanol. Did she just misspeak? Oh my God. I can't track what they're talking about. Okay, let's do this carving at least.
It does have some camber, but not a lot of camber. So I didn't get that pop across the hill like you would in more of a carving oriented ski. Felt like these held up really well at speeds on the groomers. They felt a little bit
Okay, whoever this is, she's definitely like maybe even raced in high school or kind of like the base like fundamental of racing. But that was good skiing actually. That was really good carving. Credit where it's due. I think her name's Sarah. Sarah, credit where it's due. That was great carving. You definitely look very uncomfortable in the woods, but you know what? For a lot of like people who race or carve only, that's how it is. They really don't like going in the woods. They can feel uncomfortable. When you saw her carving, she looked like she was in her element. Yeah, are there a couple things you could tweak here and there? But for curated, that's like gold. It's not as good as like Daryl or whoever we saw, but it's still pretty good. You're kind of like following your turns with your shoulders a little bit, but it's like nitpicky stuff. That was good carving. Credit where it's due, Sarah. Good carving. All right, let's hear what you have to say, because you seem a lot more confident what you're talking about too.
Unstable for me personally when I was on some of the cruddy snow. It was just chattering a little on the front. But if you're not skiing at the speeds that I am, then...
Okay, that's cool. You're not skiing that fast. Also, like, you don't have very good upper body, lower body separation. You're kind of like this. You need to separate your upper body and your lower body so you can fully carve. You're pressuring the skis, so like you have the most important piece to learn down. But if you could just separate your upper body and lower body a little bit much, things like slopey drills, things like that would really help a lot. If you could do that, you would be shredding, actually. You're actually like good at pressuring your downhill ski. You don't get that way without putting some miles on, but it's not perfect. And if you fixed the upper body, lower body down separation, you could like be a lot better. You could like improve your skiing, I don't know, an extra 50% from where you're at. So free advice that no one will ever take. That's okay.
You're probably not gonna have that problem. In the trees, I had a really easy time turning these. Like I said, they're pretty light, so that was really helpful. There's a little bit of rocker in the tail, and the rocker in the tip make the quick turns around the tree.
Okay, maybe the first shot of her skiing in the trees wasn't fair, because this looks way better. It could have been bad conditions. I'm gonna retract what I first said about her skiing in the trees, because this looks a lot cleaner. It's not perfect, but it's definitely above intermediate. It's good. It's advanced, I think, is the way you'd say it. She's also giving really good insight about, like, yeah, it is really easy to go from edge to edge and have room to turn. It's got a little bit of rocker there. It carves well. I think what she's saying overall is like is pretty insightful. This is a lot better. Who edits these? Why would you open with like the worst skiing? Because for me, like, it has 880 views, right? Like for me, I would just be like, nope. I'm not gonna watch this. I'm not gonna have these people tell me what skis to buy. I don't trust any of this. So this is a lot better. They kind of buried the lead a little bit here.
Tree is really easy. And then the Titanal underfoot helps you hold that edge as you're turning. These actually felt a little bit wider underfoot than they are. They're 96, which is still a decent sized ski, but it's definitely not like a big powder ski. So I think these would do really well in powder because of the rocker in the tip, how light they are.
Okay, here's the thing, Sarah. I think you're right, but I skied the 90, which is narrower in the powder, and it felt really great. It didn't feel like a 90 ski. It felt more like probably a 96. But when you guys say that stuff, you guys can't find any powder all year. This is 9 months ago. We had like a full year of powder. You couldn't find anything? If you're gonna say it's a powder ski and you think it'd be really good on the powder, that's fine. But please, take it on the powder. Take it on something. I know you're kind of taking it in the woods, but you guys only have these skis for one day? Curated can't like come back in 6 months or like wait for a powder day? Come on. I'm so sick of hearing, I think these would be good in the powder from Curated. There were powder days. It was like the best ski season of the year. The best winter we've had in decades. And you couldn't find a powder day? Give me a break. Stop telling me how you think they're gonna ski on the powder and find some powder and ski on them. Or say, hey, I skied on these on the powder another day. Maybe I didn't get it on camera, but they felt good. I get what you're saying, and Sarah's like a lot more insightful than probably like 90% of the people that work at Curated. But this was like, come on, I don't know. It's just, I see it all the time, and I don't know, I'm getting a little fed up with it. Like, this is my third time seeing it. Oh, I bet they'd be really good in powder. Then take them in powder. What are you in Vermont? Even Vermont had powder, come on. Okay, that's the end of my rant.
I would not hesitate to take these in a few inches of powder for sure. I'd recommend these skis to a wider range of people than I thought I would before I skied them.
Okay, just again, I don't know why I keep pausing so much. This is gonna be a nightmare to edit again. Okay, what she's doing is, rather than load her ski and release it and kind of propel herself forward, what she's doing is she's loading the ski and then kind of like scissoring her skis to initiate the next one. And you can do that in a pinch, but what's better is when you're loading the ski, you make the turn, and then if you want to start your next turn, start pressuring and changing the shape of this ski, and it's a lot quicker than this little movement, and it's a lot more precise. It'll carry your energy from turn to turn and let you stack your energy rather than just kind of swiping it. It works okay, especially if you want to get better, there's a better way to carve. Just for your advice, overall, still much better than like 75% of the other reviewers I've seen ski.
I think that as an introductory level powder ski, it's not a bad choice. I would not recommend this to a...
That's the best advice I've heard, yes. As an introductory powder ski, it is really good because it doesn't take a lot of pressure to start initiating the next turn. So, chef's kiss, that's like the one correct thing I've heard. Well, no, that's not true, but it's the most correct thing I've heard. I do think it's a really good introductory ski if you're like, want to get good at carving because it doesn't take a lot of pressure to start the turn. So, and it's good in the powder. I think she nailed it on the head with that assessment.
A beginner skier, I think it's a little too much ski for a beginner with the width, but I think that it would be a great ski for intermediate, advanced, and even expert skiers. Skis work differently for different skiers, so if you're wondering if these are right for you, click the link in the description and get connected with me or another curated expert.
Okay. You had like one bit of insightful commentary. I don't know if I'm gonna go buy skis from you. Sorry, that's mean. I thought it was gonna get better. These are for 2024 skis? 9 months ago? I gave you guys like 2 years, and I thought it would improve, and it didn't really. Also, like, your goggles look super crooked. The camera guy couldn't have helped you out with that. Okay, overall, I don't know what I give this. I'm not gonna, when did I start scoring these? I give it like half of a thumbs up. I give it a pinky up. There was like a little bit of insightfulness at the very end from Sarah. The other woman, I don't know what she was on about. She had no idea what she was talking about. Sarah could kind of carve. She definitely like has some baseline good fundamentals and is a good skier. And a lot of what she was saying as far as like it being a good intermediate or kind of somebody who's new to powder, I do think that's really insightful. I think because it's a really good all-around ski and it'd be really nice on the powder. But if that's the case and you're like kind of like, oh, they felt a little wider than they were, get on the 90. What, you guys can't, there's no video on the 90. What, you guys can't do that? That's on the curated budget? Come on. Overall, as always, curated videos are like mostly nonsense. And you can like pick out the little bits of insight that are valuable. But should you really have to do that? And if you're watching them all the time, like constantly sifting through for things that aren't total baloney, it's a little difficult. So anyway, it is super dark now. And my neighbors probably think I'm just rambling to myself. So I am going to call it at that. Yeah, overall, I don't know what the conclusion is here. Curated videos had some insight. I appreciated some of Sarah's good skiing skills. Are they perfected? No, they're kind of a half-baked cake for the most part, but that's okay. I mean, she has enough fundamentals in her skiing to understand what's going on. That being said, with these Fischer skis, they never talk about what's wrong with them. I said this in my last video with Ski Essentials, but if you want to know what like Fischer's shortcomings are, it's a really nice ski overall. I have no like hesitancy recommending this to almost like anyone who likes Fischer's type skis. But as I said before, the tips are very sensitive. Like they really want to initiate the turn. So what can happen is you can initiate the turn and then let's say you go straight and you want to initiate the next turn. Because they're so sensitive, they'll take that flattening out sometimes as a, oh, you want to initiate the next turn. And it's like, well, you didn't want that. You just wanted to stay flat. So sometimes they can be overly sensitive and they can miscommunicate some of your input as we're going to initiate a turn now. And that might not be what you want. So anyway, I mean, that's a very small downside of a very nice and versatile ski. But just so you know, because again, I don't sell skis. I'm just here to help you. So, and you know, if you buy these skis, you're going to be stuck with them. So you should know the good, but also the bad or the shortcomings of the ski. But overall, very nice ski. As for curated, I don't know. If you're a maniac like I am and you want to keep sifting through and finding the insight, I guess you can, but this stuff is mostly nonsense. So anyway, that's the end of my video. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this content, please feel free to like and subscribe. If you want to get this content kind of fed directly to you, so you can not miss out on videos like the one I was talking about from earlier with Ski Essentials, you can hit the notification tab, and that'll just make sure that the algorithm is basically feeding my content directly to you. And I'm hoping this is my last night video because it's a little spooky, a little spookerino. So, but yeah, otherwise, thank you for watching so much. I appreciate that more than anything. As much as Curated gives me indigestion, I do enjoy doing this kind of stuff. And more than anything, I just appreciate you guys watching it. And oh, and all of the nice comments. People are really, really nice in the comments. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.